During a family dinner, my girlfriend shouted that she had broken up with me a long time ago and that I was still chasing her. I was stunned. I didn't say anything, just left the dinner and walked away, even though I was the one covering her expenses. After that, I canceled everything and moved out of the house. Then one day, I ran into her sister, and she revealed a truth that was absolutely shocking. I'm a 29-year-old project manager at a mid-sized construction firm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Nothing flashy, but it pays well enough that I've built a comfortable life. I drive a decent car, rent a nice 2-bedroom apartment downtown, and I've always been the type to handle my finances responsibly. My name's irrelevant to this story. What matters is what happened 3 months ago at what I thought was just another family dinner. Her name was Lindsay. We'd been together for 2.5 years. Met her at a mutual friend's barbecue in the spring of 2023, and honestly, she seemed perfect at first. Funny, ambitious, always talking about her plans to start her own graphic design business. She had this energy that drew people in, including me. She wore confidence like perfume, and I fell for it completely. 6 months into dating, she moved into my apartment after her lease ended. She said it made financial sense while she was getting her business off the ground. That business never quite took off. There were always reasons. The market was saturated, clients were flaky, she needed better equipment, better software, a better laptop. I didn't mind helping out at first. I covered rent, utilities, groceries, her car insurance, her phone bill. She contributed occasionally when she picked up freelance gigs, maybe 200 here, 300 there, but mostly I carried us both. I told myself it was temporary, that I was investing in our future together. That's what you do when you love someone, right? You support them. The dinner happened on a Saturday in late September. Lindsay's family lived about 40 minutes away in a suburb called Huntersville. Her parents, her older sister Jenna, and Jenna's husband Kyle. They'd invited us over for what they called a family celebration. Lindsay's father had just retired from his job at the county clerk's office after 32 years, and her mother wanted everyone together to celebrate properly. I should have seen the signs that day. Lindsay was on her phone the entire drive over, texting and scrolling, barely speaking to me. When I asked if everything was okay, she just said, "Yeah, fine," without looking up. Her thumbs moved fast across the screen, and every few seconds she'd smile at something. At the house, she walked in ahead of me, didn't wait, didn't hold the door. Small things, but they added up. I was carrying a bottle of wine and a card for her father, and the door nearly closed in my face. Update 1. Dinner was tense from the start. We sat around their dining table, Lindsay's parents at the heads, Jenna and Kyle on one side, Lindsay and me on the other. The table was set nice, cloth napkins, good dishes. Her mother had gone all out. The food was good, pot roast and mashed potatoes, roasted carrots, fresh rolls. But the conversation felt forced. Lindsay's mother kept asking me about work, about my current projects. We were overseeing a hospital renovation downtown, and I answered politely, trying to be engaging. Lindsay said almost nothing, just pushed food around her plate and checked her phone every few minutes. "Lindsay, honey, put the phone away," her mother said at one point, gentle but firm. Lindsay sighed dramatically and set it face down on the table, but her eyes kept darting to it. About halfway through the meal, Lindsay's father raised his glass and said, "Well, I'm glad we could all be here together. 32 years at that office, and I'm finally free. But this, family, this is the most important thing. I'm grateful for all of you." Everyone clinked glasses. I reached over to touch my glass to Lindsay's, and she pulled hers away slightly. Not a lot, but enough that I noticed. Jenna noticed too. I caught her looking, her eyebrows furrowed. Then Lindsay's mother turned to us and asked, "So, you two, any big plans coming up? You've been together quite a while now." It was an innocent question, the kind parents ask when they're fishing for engagement news. I could see the hope in her eyes. I smiled and was about to make some light joke about taking things one day at a time when Lindsay set her fork down hard enough that it clinked loudly against her plate. "Actually," she said, her voice sharp and loud, cutting through the comfortable dinner atmosphere like a knife, "we're not together." The table went silent. Completely silent. I could hear the kitchen clock ticking from the other room. I stared at her, confused, my brain trying to catch up to what she'd just said. "What?" I said, my voice barely above a whisper. She turned to face me, her expression cold, detached, like she was looking at a stranger. "We broke up." Weeks ago, I told you it was over, and you just keep acting like we're still dating. You won't leave me alone. My brain couldn't process what she was saying. Weeks ago, we'd had arguments, sure, about money, about her lack of contribution, about her spending habits, but nothing that ended us. Nothing that even came close. We'd been living in the same apartment. We'd slept in the same bed 4 nights ago. I'd made her breakfast last Sunday. Pancakes. Her favorite. Lindsay, what are you talking about? I said, keeping my voice as calm as possible even though my heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. We didn't break up. Yes, we did, she said louder now. She looked around the table at her family, her eyes wide, playing the victim perfectly. I've tried to be nice about it, tried to let him down easy, but he won't accept it. He keeps texting me, showing up, acting like everything's fine when I've told him multiple times that we're done. Her mother looked horrified, her hand going to her chest. Her father's face darkened, his jaw clenched. Jenna's mouth was open in shock. Kyle looked between Lindsay and me, clearly uncomfortable. That's not true, I said, my voice starting to shake despite my best efforts. Lindsay, we live together. I drove you here today. We were together last night. What is happening right now? See, Lindsay said, gesturing at me like I was proving her point, her voice rising with false emotion. This is exactly what I'm dealing with. He's obsessive. He can't accept that I don't want to be with him anymore. I've tried to be kind, but he makes everything so difficult. I felt like I was in a nightmare. Like reality had shifted, and I was the only one who didn't get the memo. I looked around the table for support, for someone to say this was insane, but they were all staring at me like I was some kind of dangerous stalker. Her father's expression was dark, protective. Her mother looked like she might cry. Jenna looked torn, confused. My hands were trembling. I felt humiliated, blindsided, and completely lost. I stood up slowly, my chair scraping harshly against the floor. The sound seemed deafening in the silence. I don't know what this is, I said, looking directly at Lindsay, my voice steadier than I felt. But I'm not doing this. I'm not sitting here while you lie to everyone. I'm leaving. Lindsay opened her mouth, probably to say something else that would make me look worse, but I was already moving. I walked out of that dining room, through their living room, and out the front door. I heard her mother say something behind me, heard chairs moving, but I didn't stop. I got in my car, hands shaking so badly I could barely get the key in the ignition. I sat there for a minute, just breathing, trying to make sense of it. My phone started buzzing. Text from Jenna. What just happened? I didn't respond. I just drove. The 40-minute drive back felt like hours. My mind was racing, replaying every moment, every word. Had I missed something? Had there been a conversation I forgot? Was I losing my mind? But no, I knew what was real. We hadn't broken up. This was something else. Something calculated. Update 2. When I got back to the apartment, I sat on the couch for maybe an hour, maybe 2, just staring at the wall. My phone was in my hand, but I didn't call or text anyone. I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. Nothing made sense. We hadn't broken up. There'd been no conversation, no fight big enough to end things. No, we need to talk moment. And yet she'd stood in front of her entire family and painted me as some delusional creep who couldn't let go. The apartment felt different now. Contaminated. Everywhere I looked, I saw her stuff. Her jackets on the coat rack. Her shoes by the door. Her makeup scattered across the bathroom counter. Her laptop on the coffee table. 2.5 years of shared life. And suddenly it all felt like evidence of my stupidity. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat up making lists. Making decisions. I wasn't going to beg or chase answers. I wasn't going to call her crying and asking what I did wrong. If she wanted out this badly, if she was willing to humiliate me in front of her family, fine. But I wasn't going to be humiliated again, and I wasn't going to keep paying for someone who clearly didn't respect me. Monday morning, I started making calls. First, I called my landlord and explained I'd be breaking the lease. He wasn't happy, but I paid the penalty, $1,200. Worth every penny. Then I called the insurance company and removed Lindsay from my car insurance policy. She'd been on it for 1.5 years. Saved immediately. I went to the bank on my lunch break and closed our joint checking account, the one I'd opened 6 months prior, so she could contribute easier to household expenses. Spoiler, she'd contributed maybe $300 total over 6 months. The rest, thousands, was mine. The bank clerk asked if I was sure. I'd never been more sure of anything. I changed the Wi-Fi password. Canceled the Netflix account she used daily. Canceled the Spotify family plan. Canceled the credit card I'd given her for emergencies that she'd racked up $2,000 on in restaurant charges, online shopping, beauty products. I looked at the statement that night: sushi dinners, boutique purchases, salon visits. All while I thought we were being careful with money. Tuesday through Thursday, I packed everything: clothes, electronics, books, kitchen equipment, furniture I'd bought. I took photos of everything as I went, just in case she tried to claim I stole something that was ours. I left her with the couch. I'd bought it used off Craigslist anyway, and the bed frame, which she'd actually contributed money toward. Everything else gone. I found a new apartment across town, near my office. Smaller, 1 bedroom, but it was mine. All mine. Signed a lease Wednesday evening, moved in Thursday. Took 2 trips with a U-Haul and a buddy from work who asked no questions, just helped me load boxes. I didn't tell Lindsay I was leaving. She wasn't there during any of this. She'd apparently been staying with a friend, according to a single text she sent Tuesday afternoon that just said, "I'm getting my stuff this weekend." I replied simply, "Take what's yours. I'm gone." That's when her tone changed. She tried calling. I didn't answer. She sent texts. "We need to talk. You're being childish. You can't just leave like this. Where are you?" "This is my apartment too." I replied once more, "Your name isn't on the lease." "Never was. I paid the penalty. It's yours if you want to sign a new lease with the landlord. Otherwise, you need to be out by the end of the month." Then I blocked her number Friday night. Blocked her on social media. Blocked her email. Clean break. I thought that was the end. I thought I could move on, rebuild, forget this nightmare. I was wrong. Update 3. 2 weeks went by. I threw myself into work, stayed late at the office working on project proposals, avoided places we used to go together. That Italian restaurant downtown, where we had our first date? Avoided. The coffee shop on Trade Street where she'd spend hours networking? Different route. My friends knew something had happened, but I didn't give details. Just said we split, didn't work out, moving on. Most people didn't push. A couple asked if I was okay. I said yes, even though I wasn't sure. The truth was, I felt hollow. Not heartbroken exactly. I was too angry for that, but betrayed. Used. Stupid for not seeing it sooner. Then, on a Thursday evening in mid-October, I was at the grocery store near my new place, the Harris Teeter on East Boulevard, grabbing basics: bread, eggs, coffee, some chicken for meal prep. I was in the cereal aisle, debating between 2 brands, when I heard someone say my name. I turned, and there was Jenna, Lindsay's sister. She was pushing a cart, wearing yoga pants and a zip-up jacket, looking genuinely surprised to see me. "Hey," she said, her voice cautious, careful. "How are you?" I nodded, polite but distant. "Doing fine. You." She hesitated, glancing around like she wanted to make sure no one else was nearby. The aisle was empty except for us. "Can we talk for a second?" "Outside." I wasn't sure I wanted to. Getting involved with Lindsay's family again, even peripherally, seemed like a bad idea. But curiosity got the better of me. Or maybe I just needed to know if I was actually the crazy one. "Sure," I said. We finished checking out separately, her with a full cart, me with my basket, and met in the parking lot by her car, a silver Honda CR-V with a car seat in the back. She leaned against the driver's door, arms crossed, looking more uncomfortable than I'd ever seen her. "I need to tell you something," she said, her voice low. "About that dinner. About Lindsay. I'd rather not rehash it," I said, my tone flat. "It's done. I've moved on. No, you need to hear this." She took a breath, looked down at her shoes, then back up at me. "Lindsay lied. About all of it. About everything she said that night." I waited, my stomach nodding. "She didn't break up with you," Jenna continued, her words coming faster now. "She never planned to. The whole thing at dinner. The thing about you being obsessive, not leaving her alone, her having to tell you multiple times, she made it all up. She planned it." My chest tightened. Why the hell would she do that? Jenna's face twisted with guilt and anger. "Because she met someone else. A guy named Troy. She's been seeing him for about a month, maybe longer. She wanted to make it look like you were the problem, like you were some obsessed ex who couldn't let go. So when people asked why you two split, she'd have a story ready. She wanted sympathy. She wanted to be the victim. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. The air left my lungs. She set me up? In front of your whole family. She planned that. I know, Jenna said, and her voice was breaking now, tears forming in her eyes. I didn't know she was going to do that. None of us did. We had no idea. After you left, she acted like the victim. She cried, said she didn't want to embarrass you, but you forced her hand by not accepting the breakup. My parents believed her. Qley believed her. I didn't know what to think at first. She's my sister. But something felt wrong. Why are you telling me this now? My voice was harder than I intended. Because I overheard her on the phone 2 days ago, Jenna said, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. Tuesday night. She was in our guest room. She's been staying with us for a few days because apparently you kicked her out, which now makes total sense, and I walked past to get something from the linen closet. She was talking to someone, laughing. I heard her say, he actually left. Took everything and left. It's perfect. Now I don't have to feel guilty. And she laughed. Like it was the funniest thing in the world. Like you were a joke. My hands clenched into fists at my sides. I confronted her right there. Jenna continued. I walked in and demanded to know what she meant. She tried to play it off, but I pushed. She finally admitted it. Said she'd been seeing Troy for 5 weeks. Said she needed a clean exit strategy so nobody would blame her. Said she had to control the narrative because you were the one with money and stability, and she didn't want people thinking she used you. So she flipped it. Made you look obsessive so she'd look like the poor girlfriend trying to escape. I couldn't speak. My mind was reeling, trying to process the level of calculation, the coldness of it. I told her she's horrible, Jenna said, crying openly now. I told her what she did was cruel and manipulative. She just shrugged, said I didn't understand, that she had to look out for herself, that you'd be fine because you have money. I haven't spoken to her since. She left my house Wednesday morning. I don't know where she is now, and honestly, I don't care. She reached out like she wanted to touch my arm, but stopped herself. I'm so sorry. I know it doesn't change what happened, but you deserve to know the truth. My parents still don't know. Qley doesn't know. They still think you're the bad guy. But I couldn't live with myself if I didn't tell you. Final update. I didn't respond to Jenna right away. I couldn't. I thanked her. I think I said thank you. The words felt automatic. Got in my car and drove back to my apartment. Once inside, I sat on the edge of my bed and just processed. Lindsay hadn't just broken up with me. She'd orchestrated my humiliation. She'd destroyed my reputation with her family, probably with mutual friends who'd heard her version of events. And she'd done it deliberately, coldly, as a calculated strategy to move on guilt-free and financially supported by someone new. I'd spent 2.5 years supporting her emotionally and financially, believing we were building something, and this was the payoff. This was what my investment earned me. But sitting there in my quiet apartment, I realized something. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need to expose her or blow up her life or send screenshots to Troy or her parents. Walking away had been the right move. Cutting her off financially, removing her from my insurance, my accounts, my apartment, leaving her with nothing but the mess she'd created, that was enough. That was more than enough. She'd have to explain to Troy eventually why she had no apartment, no savings, no financial stability. She'd have to explain why her own sister wasn't speaking to her. The truth has a way of coming out, and I didn't need to be the one forcing it. A month later, mid-November, I heard through a mutual friend, someone I'd known before Lindsay, who reached out to check on me, that Lindsay and Troy broke up. Apparently, he found out she'd lied about her financial situation. She'd told him she was between places by choice, that she was minimalist and focusing on her business. When he realized she'd been expecting him to cover her expenses the way I had, and when he refused, things fell apart fast. She tried to come crawling back to mutual friends, spinning new stories about how I'd stolen from her, how Troy had been abusive, how everyone had abandoned her. Most people didn't buy it. Jenna had quietly told a few family members the truth. Her husband, Qley, one of her aunts. Word spread. Lindsay's parents eventually found out, though I don't know the details. I heard they were furious, but also defensive, the way parents get when they don't want to believe their child is capable of something ugly. Lindsay tried to reach out to me in early November. New number, same desperation. The message said, I made a mistake. I see that now. Can we please talk? I miss what we had. I stared at it for maybe 10 seconds. Then I deleted it without responding. Blocked the new number. As of now, early December, I'm doing fine. Better than fine, actually. The new apartment feels like mine in a way the old one never did. I've decorated it the way I want. Minimal, Clean, no compromises. I've been on a few dates, nothing serious yet, but I'm not rushing. One woman, a kindergarten teacher named Harper I met through a friend, seems promising. We've gone out twice. She makes me laugh. She pays for her own meals without me even asking. Work's going well. I got a promotion last month, senior project manager, 10% raise, more responsibility. My boss said I'd been exceeding expectations and showing real leadership. It felt good to be recognized for something real. Lindsay, from what I've heard, moved back in with her parents in Huntersville. I don't know if she ever told them the full truth or if they forced it out of her. I don't know if her relationship with Jenna ever recovered. I don't care. That chapter of my life is closed, locked, and buried. I still think about that dinner sometimes. Late at night when I can't sleep, or when I'm driving and a song we used to listen to comes on. I think about the look on her face when she lied so easily, so convincingly. The way her family stared at me like I was the problem, the threat, the obsessive ex. It stung. It still stings if I'm honest. But walking out of that house, refusing to defend myself to people who'd already decided I was guilty, that was the best decision I made. The second best was cutting her off completely, financially and emotionally, and not looking back. Some people will light your life on fire just to stay warm. They'll use you up, drain you dry, and then blame you for being empty. I'm just glad I got out before I burned completely. I'm glad I still had enough of myself left to walk away. And honestly, I'm glad she showed me exactly who she was. Because now I know what to avoid. Now I know what real love isn't supposed to look like. Edit 1. A few people have asked if I ever confronted Lindsay directly after Jenna told me the truth. I didn't. After everything, after hearing what she'd said about me, I saw no point. She'd already shown me exactly who she was. Calculated, manipulative, willing to destroy someone else to protect her own image. I wasn't going to give her another stage to perform on, another opportunity to twist things. Silence was the strongest statement I could make. Edit 2. Jenna and I are still on decent terms. She apologized multiple times over text in the weeks after we talked, even though none of it was her fault. I told her I appreciated her honesty and her courage in telling me the truth when she didn't have to. We don't talk often, maybe a text every few weeks, a how are you doing kind of thing, but there's no bad blood. She's a good person caught in a bad situation with a toxic sister. Edit 3. For anyone wondering if I ever got my money back, no. That $2,000 on the credit card, the months of rent I covered alone, the groceries, the insurance, the utilities, all of it, gone. I wrote it off as the cost of getting someone toxic out of my life. Best money I never got back. Cheapest lesson I ever learned about who to trust.